Hello everyone, I am here today with a very large layout, but this is going to be a pretty short video. I'm just going to be doing a quick layout overview. Basically, a couple months back now, I got a wooden railway lift and load set, which you saw if you had seen my live stream unboxing, still up on my channel. And after I unboxed that, the next day I decided I wanted to make a layout now that I have a bunch of new pieces. And I worked on it. This was my spring break. I worked on it for a few days. Then I had to go back to school and I had no time to finish it until recently. But recently I grinded it out and finished it. It took an embarrassingly long amount of time, to be quite honest with you. I wish it would have been quicker. I wish it would have taken less time, but I just want to do a quick video because I spent so much time working on it. I might as well make some content out of this besides a few Twitter pictures. So let me start moving while I'm talking. One thing I should mention that I'll show is that this layout is dual gauge, or not dual gauge, sorry, it has two gauges is what I should have said. I included an independent narrow gauge railway for the first time in a long time. The last large layout I did, it was just everyone was all one gauge, and I didn't want to do it again. I wanted to challenge myself some more, and I don't really like the narrow gauge and standard gauge mixing, so yeah. In this corner with the docks, I wanted to mention real quick. You can see I'm using the docks playmat from Down by the Docks set. I got that idea from Eric Grack on Twitter, from his layout from some years back that he is well known for. The narrow gauge part, it loops around right here in this quarry section with Boulder Mountain. This layout uses everything from my collection except for, I could show them off right here real quick because they're on this shelf. These two over the track signals, this one crossing stacking riser, and it's in the back there somewhere, but the rumble and race mountain, because I was gonna try and fit that and those also, but I was thinking more so about the rumble and race while I was building it. But I couldn't find a good spot for it, because something about this that I wanted to try and do is make it more spread out, and I don't really know if that worked per se, because I can barely navigate around this. And yeah, it goes all the way over there to all the way over here, basically taking up my entire basement. Something I really like, I have Knapford come from the docks. Also, something I really like with Tidmouth, you're not trapped at Tidmouth if you approach from any of the lines. Like, this line is a through line, and then the other tracks that branch off of Tidmouth, like, you run into a switch so it comes back to another line. So basically what I'm trying to say is you'll never dead end at the turntable from any track on the layout. You would have to consciously go and dead end at the turntable when you wouldn't have to. Something else I really like is this viaduct here with the elevated track foundations. Those look really good. This I really like, the farm over here. This is the narrow gauge line on the Rheneas and the roller coaster mountain that's winding through here. There's Duke. I really like how this area came out. Got the, what is it called, the switchyard track there. Got Tidmouth Station. The sawmill over here with the log loader, which was new from the lift and load set. The narrow gauge line comes through here. There's the four-way mountain crossing. I wanted to use that with the narrow gauge. I felt that was fitting. And here's the far side of the layout. over in the corner, over here, let me get a good angle. That is the smelting yard. I kind of wanted to have it off on its own siding there, because originally I had it on the main line, and I didn't really like that. I thought the smelting yard should be off on its own. One thing I will say, whether or not you agree with it is up to you, but I think the roadway in this layout was pretty lackluster because it was kind of an afterthought. I originally planned for a different roadway section, but then I tore it down, and then I could not find a good way to wind it into this part of the layout. I wanted to, but it would have been way too difficult, so it's just over on this section, and the roadway switch kind of does nothing. It's just there. This part was really complicated to figure out, with Olmsted Castle over there and the Blue Mountain Quarry here. These sections are dual gauge. I guess just for a brief explanation, this track here with the Sam Bell Tower that is standard gauge. You enter into the quarry, standard gauge. The turntable is dual gauge. This area right here where I'm pointing is dual gauge. Standard gauge to Vickerstown, narrow gauge to over there where Peter Sam is, that's the wharf. But right here, this section is dual gauge, so any engine could go there. This part is narrow gauge where Reneus is, and the T-switch to Mighty Mac. That goes back over to that side of the layout. This way is narrow gauge. Under that stacking riser, narrow gauge. This line right there that I'm pointing to under the Hilltop Station, that is narrow gauge to the castle, which the top of Olmsted, that's dual gauge. Let me get over there. So the top is dual gauge. If you go down the drawbridge, that is standard gauge. Dual gauge this way, and the dual gauge ends here. If you go left, if you go left, it's still dual gauge. If you go right, it's exclusively narrow gauge to the wharf. You have to be narrow gauge. Then here, again, if you go right, it is narrow gauge where Freddy is. And then something I was really happy with, the narrow gauge sheds over there. Over on this end, this is the Steamworks, or the works. This was the last part of the layout, this corner, and I ran out of straights, and I honestly even almost ran out of curves. So I'm really not too pleased with how this ended up looking, but it's the best that I could do. But you go where Victor is, across the turntable, it's still dual gauge until this T-switch. The sheds, the work shed is dual gauge, but after that it is not. Where Charlie is and back to Olmsted, that is standard gauge, and you can see that because the lady's there. And then the narrow gauge line curves around to the wharf, and then back to where Luke is. So yeah, I kind of gave a tour of the narrow gauge line. I'm definitely not doing a tour of the standard gauge area. It is way too much, I'm sorry. But hopefully you've gotten a good picture of what's going on here, because geez, this video is already 9 minutes long just about. And I'm sorry for the shaky camera and some bad angles. It's because I'm trying to walk over this and talk at the same time, and it is very hard to get over this. Even though I tried to make it more spread out than my last large layout, it did not really work out in my favor. I was originally not gonna try to put the clay pits in, if you could see it over there, but I managed to. There's nothing really else I have to comment on. That's it, really. So I'm gonna say thank you guys for watching this video. It turned out not to be that short. I'll put some pictures here at the end of some interesting shots I got of the layout. Thank you for watching. New videos will be coming soon. I have many remakes planned for this summer, so I hope you all will be on the lookout. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See ya!